Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Sam. I'm a licensed hairstylist, and in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to your hairstylist horror stories. I love sharing client horror stories and bad experiences that I have with clients every so often. I think that it's just a great learning experience. It's relatable, lets you know that if you are ever in a similar situation that you're not alone. But I think that it's important to kind of flip the script a little bit because although there can be some terrible clients out there, there are also some terrible hairstylists as well. So if you have a bad salon story that you would like to share with me to feature in a future video, whether you are a hairstylist with a bad client story or you are a client with a bad hairstylist story, go ahead and email it to styledbysamthay@gmail.com. So the first email says, hair horror story with a question. Hi Sam, I love your videos. Thought I would share my recent hair horror story, but I also have a question. Is it rude to bring products to your stylist for them to use on you? I know some salons pretty much use the same brand of products throughout their salon for consistency, but I really love a few of the Guy Tang products and think they would work really well for the color I'm trying to achieve. I am in no way a hairstylist, but I watch a lot of hair videos, including Guy Tang's, and I feel they are really great quality. So yeah, I would be willing to purchase the products myself through a third party since I am not licensed to buy in store and bring them to my stylist, and I would not ask for a discount or anything like that. But is that a big no-no in the salon world? I would say so, yeah. I mean, I think if you have like a really close relationship with your stylist and if they own their own salon, and you guys are like friends, then maybe that would be okay. But I think to just book an appointment with the stylist and go into a salon and be like, hey, I brought my own products, most likely you're gonna get turned down. If that happened to me as a stylist, if one of my clients brought in hair color and they were like, hey, can you use this on me? I would say no, because for liability reasons, I don't know where you got that color from. I don't know if it's actually good quality or not, if it's the real deal, if it's expired, especially if it's not a color line that I've ever worked with before. Like, I can't guarantee my work unless I'm using the products that we have at the salon that I know work well and I know what results I can expect. So I think that it would also just be stupid from a liability standpoint for a stylist to agree to do that. I would say instead just do your research. Maybe if you really like the Guy Tang colors, try to find a salon that works with Guy Tang color, or just do your research and try to find a stylist whose work looks like what it is that you want done. Because I've worked with Guy Tang color before and I do like it, but a lot of the colors he has in his line, you can replicate with other lines as well. Okay, so as for my hair horror story, I started going to a stylist who I think did a really great job on my hair. However, she was having health issues and was going to be out of work for the foreseeable future with no time frame of when she would be back. So I went in search of a place to get my hair done. I found a salon that had great reviews on Yelp, and their Instagram page had beautiful photos of hair they had done too. So I made the appointment. For reference, my natural hair is about a level 7, and I had previously had the roots of a level 6 to 5-ish. So hair levels go, like the higher the number, the lighter the hair is. So if she's naturally a level 7, then putting a level 6 or a 5 would be a darker color. So she gets her roots darkened. So I had previously had the roots a level 6 to 5-ish with balayage throughout the rest. This has been my norm the past 2 years. When I arrived, I told the stylist what I was looking to do and showed her a picture. I told her I wanted to go darker but still leave out some blonde pieces for dimension. I suggested darkening my root and then dragging the color down throughout the hair, but again leaving out some blonde pieces. She went back to mix the color and came back with 2 bowls. I'm assuming they had different color mixes in them. She never brushed my hair or asked me how I part my hair. She also never asked the last time my hair was dyed or what I've used to dye it. I think that anytime you're doing a consultation, in order to be thorough, asking about hair history is an important part of that. But if I have somebody that comes in that already is light and they just want to go darker, I don't really need to know their hair history. Like, I see that your hair is lightened, I'm darkening it. It's really when you have a client that comes in with darker hair that wants to go lighter that then knowing their hair history is crucial. So that to me isn't a huge red flag, but not brushing it or like sectioning it or asking where you part it, yeah, that's definitely not a good sign. She told me she was going to apply the color to the ends first because they need more time to develop. That's wrong. That's the opposite, actually. Whenever you're making hair darker, your roots are new virgin hair. Like, they have the thickest cuticle hair on your ends, that it's older hair, it's had heat applied to it, it's been out in the sun, it's just, you know, like, it gets a little bit damaged just from the environment. The cuticle is going to be a little bit more open, and it's going to accept that color quicker and more easily than your roots will, especially if the ends have been bleached. If they're lighter, it's more porous, so it's going to suck that color up immediately. So what she did is backwards. She started sloppily applying it on, again, without ever brushing my hair, so it was a mess. And that's, you obviously want to brush through the hair first. Even if the hair is not tangled, you want to make sure you're brushing through it just to make sure that there aren't any tangles and everything is smooth and running in the same direction, so that when you apply that color, you're going to get even saturation and you're not going to miss any spots. I feel like that's common sense, right? Should go without saying. She kept getting my hair in knots, and at one point asked if I was okay because I looked in pain. I said, yeah, but my hair is knotted. She replied and stated, once we wash with conditioner, it will be fine. Sure, but not the point. It was like she never heard of sectioning the hair off and brushing it. She completely covered my hair in the color and didn't section off any blonde pieces. I really had no idea what to say because I am not a stylist and felt I should just trust the process. After she rinsed it out and started drying it, I could see there was banding through my hair. The roots were one color, then there was banding of a darker color, and then a lighter color underneath that banding. She asked if I wanted to add in some blonder pieces, so I said yeah, but was internally upset because I had originally suggested leaving some blonde pieces out. Now she was going to put bleach on my hair to lighten it when I was already light to begin with. It seemed counterproductive and damaging to my hair, but I did want lighter pieces, so I said yes. She asked if I wanted it more like highlights or balayage. I said balayage, and she repeated, balayage, yes. She then proceeded to give me highlights. I didn't realize it until after she had rinsed out and brought me back to the chair. So when we're talking about like balayage versus highlights, balayage typically just means that most of the lighter pieces are just throughout the ends. It's very blended. You're not going all the way up to the root with the color. Whereas highlights, traditionally, you're going all the way up to the scalp and the placement is a little bit more precise, whereas like a balayage, it just looks more natural and more blended. It looked so splotchy. I was very upset and told her it looked splotchy and uneven. She said, no, that's just how your bangs are. She made no sense. She then offered to put in low lights to fix it. I told her no because I didn't want my hair to receive more damage. It felt like shit at this point. And I also internally did not trust her to fix anything because she already did a terrible job. She didn't even give me a blowout. She dried half of my head to show me the color only, and I had to ask her to brush my hair after she was drying it. She also gave me a hair trim with layers before drying it, which I really had no idea if it was even or not. It didn't look terrible, but I didn't trust anything she did. I paid $250 and then made an appointment elsewhere to fix it the next week. After writing a bad review on Yelp of my experience, the owner had actually contacted me and fully refunded me if I would remove the review, which was nice, but still does not make up for the damage my hair had to go through. Lesson learned to speak up and walk out early on if something goes wrong. Okay, so we have her inspiration photo, and then this was what her hair looked like, which I wish that you had included a photo of like the full thing, so that we could see like all the banding and what the ends looked like. I have so many thoughts about this because on one hand, as a hairstylist, it can be very annoying to have a client that's like questioning every little thing that you're doing and is constantly like looking in the mirror and, you know, trying to be like a backseat driver as you're doing their hair, right? Because it's like, well, I'm the professional. You came to me for a reason. Just trust that I know what I'm doing and wait till I'm done, and then you can, you know, see what you think. And every hairstylist has their own different type of technique. So especially if you yourself are not a professional, you shouldn't necessarily assume that what they're doing is wrong just because it's maybe different than how you've seen somebody else do it, or they're doing it differently than how you think that it should be done. So it's tough because it's like on one hand, you don't want to be like that rude, obnoxious client, but at the same time, you don't want situations like this to happen where you have all these doubts and you don't speak up and then they end up ruining your hair, right? And it sounds like you did everything right as far as trying to research and look at photos and read reviews. The fact that the owner contacted you and gave you a refund, essentially paid you off to delete your bad review, is so terrible to me, because it goes to show that like there have probably been other people in the past that had bad experiences but no one's ever gonna know about them because they've been paid off to remove those reviews. Like, is that even legal to do? I feel like it shouldn't be. It's really, really shady. And I mean, if somebody is unhappy with their hair, then yeah, if you want to offer them a refund or offer to fix it for free, absolutely. But their review should stay. And then if they choose to take the review down themselves or they want to add an edit to it, that should be up to them. But the way that I would have done this if I were the hairstylist is basically what you had assumed should have been done. I would have touched up the roots. If you wanted your roots to be darker, I would have applied the color to the roots first, and then I would have done what is called like a reverse balayage technique, where you are essentially just adding low lights to the hair to make it darker while leaving some lighter pieces out, which is what I did actually to my own hair recently. It makes absolutely no sense to darken the hair and then add highlights and re-bleach it. Like, that's just definitely not necessary. It's damaging to the hair, putting the hair through way more than necessary, and it's also a huge waste of time. I think that the only thing that you could have maybe done in this situation to avoid this from happening was scheduling a consultation previously, and maybe during the consultation you could have like gotten the vibe that maybe she didn't really know what she was doing and wasn't on the same page with you, and so then you could have not booked the appointment. Or the other thing I would have done is, after she initially darkened your hair all over, before she went through and added highlights, I would have just been like, you know what, never mind. And I would have went home and I would have just washed my hair in hot water with clarifying shampoo, try to fade the dark color as much as possible, and then go to another salon to get it redone and fixed. So yeah, I'm really sorry that this happened to you, but at least it was a learning lesson and you were able to get your money back. And hopefully you were able to get it fixed and you have the hair that you initially wanted now. All right, the next email is just titled Hair Horror Story. Hi Sam, I have a hair horror story and picture to share with you. So back in 2016, I had been getting my hair colored a dark auburn color for several years and felt like my hairstylist was getting too comfortable and making little mistakes. So when I decided I wanted my hair colored a little lighter, I scoured Google for the best hair salon and thought I had found it. I made an appointment with the stylist, who had numerous pictures of beautiful balayages and highlights, and I couldn't wait. This salon had glowing reviews and I thought it would be the perfect place to get my hair lightened. Now, I had been getting my hair colored professionally for a long time, so I knew I couldn't go dark auburn to blonde overnight and wasn't expecting that at all. I just wanted my hair lightened to a caramelly color with some long layers. My first red flag should have been that my hairstylist declined to see the pictures I had saved on my phone and instead told me she knew just what I had in mind. She used the words caramel and sun-kissed and subtle long layers to describe the hair painting and highlights and layering she was doing to my hair. I really trusted her because of the amazing reviews I'd read prior to coming in. After she blow-dried my hair and faced me towards the mirror, she told me excitedly about how great it looked. For some reason, I totally lose my voice in the hair salon, so despite knowing it didn't look how I wanted, I thanked her and left a generous tip. I think that that's really relatable. I know that when I was younger, there were plenty of times where I hated how my hair looked, but I was too shy and scared to speak up, so I just acted like I loved it and then went home and cried. When I got home, I went straight into my bathroom and could see that it was even worse than I had thought. When you get your hair colored at the salon, do not go home and look at it in your bathroom, because bathroom lighting is awful. Most people in our bathrooms, we have orange warm lights, and your color is never gonna look good. No one's color looks good in their bathroom. If you wanna see what your hair truly looks like, bring a mirror over to a window or look at it outside in your car. Indirect natural sunlight is always going to be the best lighting, and it's always going to show your color off like truest to color. First, my hair was layered in a way that looked as though she grabbed the top layer of my hair and hacked it off with pruning shears. Then on the top layer, there were pencil-thin yellow highlights that contrasted harshly with my dark hair. The bottom layer was the worst though. Copper orange hair painting. It looked so terrible that I cried. I worked up the nerve to call the salon, and to their credit, after seeing my hair in person, the manager gave me a full refund. That is good. I got my hair colored dark brown to cover everything up, but shortly after that, I decided to let my hair grow out so its natural color, partly because I was afraid of having my hair messed up like that again. Isn't it crazy how you can have countless amazing hair salon experiences, and then the second that you have one bad experience, it will traumatize you for life? And I'm speaking from personal experience as a client. This is so frustrating. Similar to the previous story, you did your research, you looked at photos, you read reviews, everything seemed great. I'm wondering if this place does the same thing as the place in the first story where they like pay people off to delete negative reviews. I just don't get it. It's frustrating because it just makes the process of finding like an actual good hairstylist that much more difficult. It makes it seem impossible, and it really shouldn't be like that. So the technique that she did as far as like adding little thin highlights on the top layer and then doing larger, bigger panels on the bottom and like freehand painting, that is a technique. Actually, my boss does that a lot, but on people that have natural hair starting out with. If you already have previous color in your hair, that's a color correction. And you can't do that kind of technique because it's not gonna come out even. The highlights, the thin little highlights that they're doing in foils on the top layer are gonna lift more, and the freehand painting on the ends are barely gonna lift at all, which is exactly what we have in this picture. That bottom layer is very coppery and orange because it wasn't done in thin sections and foils, so it wasn't able to get as much lift. And then you have those tiny thin yellow highlights, which the fact that those lifted so nicely goes to show that had she done your whole head in nice thin pieces in foils, you could have lifted. That auburn color would have came out completely and you could have gotten the color you wanted in one session. It's just the technique that she used wasn't appropriate for your starting situation and your hair history. And maybe this stylist is really good at doing balayage, but maybe only on clients that are starting out with virgin hair. Maybe she doesn't really have much experience when it comes to like color corrections. That's what it seems to me anyway. And those layers look absolutely horrific. Cutting is not her specialty, clearly. And I don't ever like to shit on other stylists, so I don't want it to come off like I'm on this high horse, like shitting on other stylists and that I think I'm so much better than everyone else. Like, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. There are tons of services that I suck at, but I don't do them and I don't pretend to be good at them. And if somebody comes in and asks for that, I will straight up tell them and be honest, like, that is not my strong suit. I can recommend someone else for you. If you really want me to do it, I can try my best, but I cannot promise that it will be my best work because it's not my strong suit. I think that the biggest lesson from this story, and it's kind of the same lesson from the previous one, is yeah, you need to do your research. You need to read reviews, you need to look on socials, you need to look at photos, but you also, I think, need to book a standalone consultation first before just going and booking any appointments. Because it seems like in both of these stories, you got a feeling right off the bat that something was off and the stylist like didn't rub you the right way. You weren't on the same page. So during a consultation, you'll be able to notice those things. And I know that when we go to get our hair done, we're just like very excited and very eager, and we want to just, at least for me, I'm very impatient. And once I decide I want to do something, I want to just do it right there and then. But especially when it comes to color and it's a new person you're going to for the first time, you gotta take that time. If they offer standalone consultations, I would book that, and I would just really listen to your gut. If something seems off, if you feel like the stylist is talking over you, isn't really listening to you, isn't interested in seeing your inspiration photos, which is ridiculous. Like, even if you explain to me what you want and I'm pretty sure that I'm understanding what you want, I still want to see pictures because I want to be 100% sure that what you're describing and what I'm envisioning is actually what it is that you want. Because also sometimes clients will tell you certain things, they'll use certain terms and certain words, and then when they show you the picture of what it is they want, it's totally off, totally different. I promise you guys, there are a lot of really amazing hairstylists out there that will listen to you, that are very talented, that will do their best to make you feel very comfortable during your appointment, that will make your experience very pleasant, and that will give you hair of your dreams and make you very happy, and that you can trust. Just because there's a few bad apples doesn't mean that we're all terrible. But honestly, every time I read these kinds of stories and I hear about these experiences, it just inspires me more to keep learning and keep growing and keep trying to put in maximum effort to make my clients' experiences as positive as possible, and to also continue sharing my experiences and my advice so that hopefully I can spread that to other stylists as well. So thank you so much to everybody who sent in your stories. Don't forget, if you have a story that you want to share with me that you want me to react to in a future video, you can email it to styledbysamvay@gmail.com. I will have that listed in the description as well. If you like this video and you want me to do another one in the future, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. Also, make sure you're subscribed if you like this kind of content, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.